The birthplace of Halloween. If someone asked me, where did Halloween come from? I would say, go to Ireland and Scotland, where the first candles weren't lit for decoration, but to welcome the dead and drive away evil spirits. Before American pumpkins, chocolate candies, or Hollywood horror movies, there was Samhain, the ancient Celtic harvest festival, marking the boundary between autumn and the cold, dark winter. On that last night of October, as the sun faded, winds howled from the sea, and bonfires flickered across the fields, the Celts believed that the veil between the living and the dead grew thin, allowing the spirits of ancestors and wandering creatures to move freely between worlds. At that time, people didn't have calendars or seasons marked by science. They simply knew that when the leaves fell and daylight shortened, danger was coming. To protect themselves, they held Samhain, pronounced Samhain, part Thanksgiving, part communion with the other world. They believed ancestors would return home, but also that restless spirits and fairies, aus sea, could roam freely, bringing misfortune if not appeased. A monk in 8th century Ireland once wrote, "On the last night of October, villagers light fires to warm the souls of the dead and set stakes in the fields to keep demons from their homes." Thus, the original Halloween was a night of both reverence and fear, a battle between light and darkness. In ancient Ireland and Scotland, Samhain was a living painting of smoke, fire, and laughter. At dawn, all household fires were extinguished. By nightfall, people gathered on the hilltops, where druid priests led the rituals. A massive sacred bonfire was lit, symbolizing the dying sun and a plea for its return. The next morning, each family carried home a coal from that fire to relight their hearths, believing it would protect their home for the year ahead. They wore animal skins, carved grotesque faces into hollow turnips, and placed candles inside to fool wandering spirits. Centuries later, when Irish immigrants reached America and found no turnips, they used pumpkins instead, and the jack-o'-lantern was born. After the rituals came feasting. A place was left empty at the table to invite the ancestors to join. Children and young people went door to door in disguise, singing, reciting poems, and receiving cakes, a custom known as guising, the ancestor of trick-or-treat. There were even romantic folk games. Girls threw hazelnuts into the fire to see whose love would last, or pulled up kale stalks in the dark to glimpse their future husbands. For the Celts, Samhain was a night of trembling laughter, a festival where life and death danced together, and humans flirted with the mysteries of the unseen. When Christianity spread to Celtic lands, the Church sought to replace pagan rituals by moving All Saints' Day to November 1st, the night before All Hallows' Eve, eventually shortened to Halloween. In the 19th century, as Irish and Scottish immigrants fled the Great Famine to America, they brought their traditions with them. Turnips became pumpkins, sacred fires turned into children's games, and by the early 20th century, Halloween had become a popular American folk festival, later spreading worldwide. A Scottish scholar once joked, "We only meant to keep our ancestors warm, the Americans turned it into a global party." Today, Halloween is more than costumes and candy. It's a mirror reflecting humanity's enduring fascination with the unknown. It reminds us that people have always been drawn to what they cannot fully understand. The thin line between life and death, joy and fear, the mortal and the ghostly. Even though modern Halloween has been commercialized with sugar, cinema, and spectacle, it still carries the echo of the Celtic soul, those ancestors who lit fires in the dark to pray for light and guard the spirits of the departed. Archaeologists have uncovered 5,000-year-old tombs on the hills of Tara and Tlachtga in Ireland. Aligned with the sunrise on Samhain, evidence that this moment has been sacred for millennia. In Scottish villages, bonfires and carved turnip lanterns still blaze each October, keeping the connection alive. And in Ireland, the Samhain festival is revived every year. Thousands march with torches up Tlachtga Hill, singing and retelling ancient myths beneath the stars. From a humble harvest ritual in a far corner of Europe, Halloween has journeyed for over 2,000 years to become a global celebration. But if you look closely amid the glowing pumpkins and playful masks, you can still glimpse those ancient Celts by the fire, smiling softly, whispering a timeless truth. Living or dead, we are all but souls within the eternal circle of time. Dia de los Muertos. If Halloween is the night of fear, Then Mexico has found an entirely different way to face death. They throw a party. Every year on November 1st and 2nd, the country bursts into bright shades of orange marigolds, candlelight, and music. It's called Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead, yet ironically, it's one of the happiest celebrations of the year. Instead of mourning, Mexicans celebrate life after death. They believe that during these two sacred days, the spirits of their loved ones return home. And the best way to welcome them back isn't with tears or prayers, but with a feast of laughter, music, tequila, and sweet pan de muerto bread. The story goes back more than 3,000 years, when ancient civilizations like the Aztec, Toltec, and Maya believed death wasn't an ending, but a journey back to the underworld Mictlan. They honored the dead with skulls, fruit, and offerings to help guide their spirits home. When the Spanish arrived in the 16th century, they were horrified to see the natives singing and feasting beside human skulls. Catholic missionaries tried to civilize the tradition by moving it to November 1st and 2nd to coincide with All Saints' Day and All Souls' Day. But instead of fading away, the indigenous festival survived by blending old and new. The people kept their marigolds and sugar skulls, added saints and candles, and gave birth to a celebration that was both sacred and joyful. A dazzling fusion of European Christianity and Native American spirituality. As October fades, Mexico transforms into a sea of golden flowers. People scatter marigold petals along pathways to guide the spirits back home. In every house, families build ofrendas, home altars, filled with photos of loved ones, candles, fruit, tequila, salt, and the deceased's favorite food. Some even add a pack of dominoes or a cigarette, little comforts for the visiting souls. In rural towns, families gather right in the cemeteries, cleaning graves, lighting candles, and spending the night eating, singing, and talking to their ancestors. For Mexicans, it's not a night of mourning, it's a spiritual reunion filled with stories, laughter, and sometimes tears of joy. In Mexico City, Dia de los Muertos has the grandeur of a national carnival. Thousands march down Paseo de la Reforma, painted as smiling skeletons, dancing beneath cascades of flowers and confetti. The most iconic figure is La Catrina, the elegant lady skeleton in a feathered hat, her grin both charming and mocking. She's a reminder, death comes for us all, so live beautifully and die with style. But Dia de los Muertos is more than a festival, it's a spiritual medicine. It teaches people to talk to death, not with fear, but with love and memory. Many say that on this night, the dead don't leave, they're just resting until they return home. It's also a community event. Neighbors decorate cemeteries, children craft sugar skulls, schools bake pan de muerto and tell stories of ancestors. The festival sustains thousands of artisans, painters, and flower growers, while keeping alive a shared connection to heritage and family, something the modern world often forgets. In today's globalized era, Dia de los Muertos has become the soul of Mexican culture, ancient yet modern, sacred yet full of joy. As Mexicans say, we are born, we live, we die, but no one truly disappears as long as they are remembered. The lesson is simple, but profound. Don't fear death, it's just the next chapter. Love while you can, because memory is eternal. In 2008, UNESCO recognized Dia de los Muertos as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity, calling it a creative expression of life's optimism in the face of death. Since then, it's inspired films, art, and scholarship, most famously Pixar's Coco, which made millions cry, and even doubled the demand for marigolds across Mexico that year. And now, here's a question for you. If you could experience Dia de Muertos yourself, where would you go? Among the candlelit graves of Oaxaca or the vibrant parade through Mexico City? Share your answer in the comments and spread the spirit of the Day of the Dead, where death doesn't end life, but begins a beautiful reunion in the circle of memory. Shibuya Halloween. If there's one place in the world that's turned Halloween into a giant cosplay runway, it's Shibuya, Tokyo. No ghosts, no ancient rituals. Yet every October, the famous Shibuya Scramble Crossing transforms into a spontaneous citywide costume party. Tens of thousands flood the neon streets, superheroes, zombies, Disney princesses, even walking bento boxes. There's no trick or treating here, no candy, just a sea of costumes, music, and camera flashes. Shibuya Halloween is a social phenomenon unlike anything else, dazzling, chaotic, and uniquely Japanese. Though Halloween has no roots in Japan, it found its perfect match here through cosplay culture, already ingrained in Japanese youth life. After 2000, as anime and manga conquered the world, Shibuya, the mecca of youth and fashion, became the natural gathering spot for costume lovers. At first, it was just small friend groups taking photos. But by 2010, with the rise of social media, images of Tokyo's costumed crowds went viral globally, turning Shibuya Halloween into an international sensation. No organizers, no tickets, just show up in costume and you're instantly part of the festival. One Japanese journalist once joked, "Shibuya Halloween is the only place in Tokyo where you can see a zombie, a Disney princess, and a drunk salaryman all crossing the same red light together." From a few hundred people in the early 2000s, the crowd swelled to over 40,000 by 2019. Bars sold out, convenience stores ran out of beer, and police had to erect barricades just to keep order. The crossing turned into a cosplay ocean. Mario met Luigi, vampires high-fived superheroes, and Pikachu posed for selfies with the Grim Reaper. But as the fun peaked, chaos crept in. In 2018, a group of revelers overturned a truck in the middle of the street. The video went viral, and the festival's reputation changed overnight. Tokyo authorities stepped in, banning alcohol and deploying more police. Then came 2021, when a man dressed as the Joker attacked passengers on a Tokyo train. And after the 2022 Itaewon disaster in South Korea, where over 150 people died in a Halloween crowd crush, Japan clamped down hard. Officials made their stance clear. Do not come to Shibuya to celebrate Halloween. Come on another day. By Halloween 2023, Shibuya was unrecognizable. No massive crowds, just fences and police patrols. Attendance dropped by 60% to around 16,000 mostly curious tourists. The wild energy gave way to cautious calm. The city spent over $580,000 on security, and for the first time, there were no fights or dangerous crowd surges. A Tokyo resident quipped on NHK, "Shibuya Halloween now feels like a party with insurance, fun enough, but perfectly safe." Even as it cooled down, Shibuya Halloween left a lasting mark on Japan's urban culture. It captured the spirit of a generation, the desire to express oneself, even if only for one night. It also revealed the power of pop culture, how cosplay, social media, and creativity could fuse into a celebration so big that even city officials had to adapt. At the same time, it became a case study in crowd safety. After Itaewon, Japan realized that freedom to gather must come with responsible management. Rather than banning Halloween altogether, Tokyo tried a new experiment: virtual Shibuya, a Halloween celebration inside the metaverse, where anyone could join the crowd as a digital avatar. It was a solution that felt perfectly Japanese, innovative, orderly, and polite. From a sociological perspective, Shibuya Halloween is a textbook example of how Japan Japanizes global culture. Western Halloween turned into a street cosplay carnival. Fear became fun, ghosts became selfies, and the festival became a social laboratory for studying crowd behavior and urban order. Today, researchers in traffic, sociology, and communication fields analyze Shibuya as a model for how the Japanese maintain structure even amid chaos. Perhaps, if the Irish invented Samhain to honor spirits, and Americans turned Halloween into a candy empire, then the Japanese made Shibuya Halloween to prove one very made-in-Japan truth. Even in chaos, the Japanese still know how to form a line.